Today we're going to talk about homestead exemption in the state of Florida. And so many of you have heard about it, but you may not understand the true underlying benefits. It was originally created as a way to protect homeowners for their primary residence, to protect them from creditors during hard times. And it also protects your spouse and your family. And this is super important. So when you buy a home, one of the first things that you want to do is you want to file for that homestead exemption. Now, there are some rules about it. And of course, there are tax benefits to this because it reduces the taxable value of your home. So you're not paying so much in property taxes. However, when you file and when you buy your house matters. So you have to have lived in your home as of January 1 of that tax year to get that benefit. And the deadline to file is March 1st. So if you buy your house in March, you're not going to qualify for the tax break for this particular tax year. It will be next tax year, but you can still go ahead and file for that exemption early. That way it's already done and the ball's already rolling, because as of January 1 next year, you'll be living in that home and you want to have those tax benefits. Now, because we pay our taxes in the arrears, it can sometimes feel like there's a 2-year lag or so on that, because again, you get your tax bill in November for this tax year. So let's talk about that. 2026, our tax bills for 2026, they come out in November, and we have until March 31st to pay those tax bills. And the longer you wait, the more money you actually pay. That'll be a whole different video. But so we don't get our tax bills for this year that we're in until the end of the year. So if you bought your house after January 1 in 2026, you will not get that homestead exemption for 2026. You won't get it until next year. You can still file for that homestead exemption, but it will apply to 2027 taxes. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you won't get 2027 tax bill until November of 2027. So it feels like it was a really long time because you bought your home in early 2026, but you missed that January 1 deadline cutoff. You don't get to have the benefits until 2027 tax bill rolls around. But it is still a huge benefit because, again, it reduces your taxable value, what you're paying property taxes on. And again, it protects you as it has to be your primary residence, but it protects you if you fall into hard times and you end up with some creditors. They can't come and take your home if it's homesteaded. This is super important. So there's a lot of talk about taxes, property taxes going away or changing for primary home ownership in the state of Florida. We don't really know how that's going to play out and what that's going to look like. We do know it's probably going to happen. We don't know anything else about it. But that doesn't change the protection that homestead exemption offers you. So always file that homestead exemption. If you have any questions, you should always check with your local property appraiser. That's how you would actually file for that homestead exemption. Most times it can be done online at their website, but you can always call them. I've called them several times over the years about different properties that I've owned, even in counties where it wasn't my primary residence, and they are so nice. They walk you through everything and they explain everything. And I've actually said to them, like, listen, explain it to me like I am a 5-year-old. I don't know anything about this kind of stuff because I really need to break it down in a way that I understand it. And you know what? They're so patient. They do. They love talking to you. So if you have any questions, reach out to your local tax appraiser or your taxing collector and ask them. But always make sure that you file that homestead exemption. Be mindful of those deadlines. January 1st, you had to have owned your home on January 1st, and your filing deadline is March 1st for that current tax year if you want that exemption.